more sugar. That's my problem. I've had way too much sugar. Hey makeup friends, it is that time of the month again. Not that time of the month. That always comes across as really strange to say. It's not that time. I wouldn't make a video about that. Oh my goodness. We're off to a fantastic start. It is favorites and fails times. Let's get into it. Before we start the video, I want to welcome you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. Quickly, to touch upon the eye makeup situation, I did film the look. I'm planning on doing 3 looks using the Garnet palette from BH Cosmetics. That's obviously, this is the first of 3. Anyways, here we are. I have filmed this intro way too many times for me to delete it and try again. That's just where we're at. Okay, so this is look number 1. I have 2 others planned. I don't know when I'm going to get it up because I don't even know when I'm going to get this video up. So at some point, that is going to be coming on my channel. Okay, this month I do have favorites, but I also have some fails. So we're going to start with the fails just so that we can get them out of the way and end on a high note. So let's dive in with a couple of lip products. One of them, I'm really sorry to say this. I really am truly sorry to say this, but this lip gloss here from Juvia's place was not it for me. So this is one of their new reds and berries ones that they put out. This is in the shade Maroon. The color is very pretty. The formula, very nice. It's got a large doe foot. It's like a slightly sweet scent to it. Nothing overpowering or off-putting, anything of that sort. Again, color, beautiful. The problem that I have with this is that it feathers like a beast. It does not care what I put underneath it. It just wants to roam about my face. And with a shade this dark, any feathering is very noticeable and it happens very quickly. It also camps out in the corners of my mouth and it slides around too much for my liking. So that happened. All right, so the formula it's comfortable on the lips, but it moves around altogether way too much. So maybe a lighter shade, it wouldn't be as noticeable, but with this one, it's just a high liability and it feathered on the lower lip, on the upper lip. It just was a hot mess, so I cannot get behind this one at all, unfortunately. All right, I have another lip product to talk about. This one is from the drugstore. It's from NYX, and it's one of their new Shine Loud liquid lipsticks. So on the one end, you do have the liquid lip color. This one is Rebel Red, and it's a gorgeous color. Like, it's fire engine red. It's beautiful. So basically how it works is you put the liquid lip color down first, let that dry for a bit, and then on this end there is a clear gloss, and it just has like a little brush applicator, so you put that on top. It's supposed to cut down on the transfer of the color and make it really long lasting yet comfortable. Basically, I picked this up to see if it was a dupe for the Chanel double-ended jobby that I have raved about in the past. I love these. I think they're very comfortable. Unfortunately, this is not comfortable. It became gritty on my lips. It became so dry, and while the color did last quite a while, it was not comfortable to wear at all. It also wasn't anywhere near as transfer proof as the Chanel ones. It was mostly transfer proof, but certainly not entirely. I couldn't get past the grittiness. Like, it just became all textured on my lips, even with that gloss on top of it. I had to keep reapplying the gloss or else it became very sticky. It's not a product that I would recommend. It is basically, I think I paid $15 for this, whereas this one retails for $40. So the price point is definitely more appealing, but frankly, I would put the money towards this over this any day. I don't have any of the Rimmel Provocalips. That's the product that everybody always tells me reminds them of these Chanel ones. I tried them when they very first came out in, like, when was that? 2015 maybe? 2000, somewhere around there, I'm not sure. So I don't have any of them, and I don't really recall what it was like because it's been so long and I didn't have a channel at that time, but If you have had one of the Rimmel products and you've tried this NYX one, please let us know in the comments which one you prefer, because I cannot recommend this one, but I know that the Chanel is so much more expensive that people are probably looking for something either in the middle or closer to this price point. So if you've tried the Provocalips from Rimmel and you've had good experiences, please let us know in the comments so that people can avoid this nonsense. All right, and now we're going to move on to a product that it hurts me to say I don't like it because I love the brand so much. It's this product here from BH Cosmetics. This is their BH Liquid Eyeliner. I just have it in the shade Black. It came free with a purchase that I made. I think the purchase of the Garnet palette. I love BH. I love them. Do not like this eyeliner whatsoever. So it's like a felt tip liner, kind of like a marker kind of deal. I have no issues with that. It is very black. That's fine. It applies nicely. The problem that I have with this liner is that it transfers off almost instantly. Like it smudges around. It doesn't matter how long it's been on. It's still like, if you accidentally brush past it, it's going to smudge. I can't go a full work day with wings smudged all over my face. I'm not going to do that. And this one just has no longevity whatsoever. And it's not even like just a little smudge. It's like if you just like touch it, or I don't even know how, like what position I was in, maybe I went like this, but it ended up on my fingers. Like it just lifted straight off my face and onto my fingers. Like that should not happen with a liquid eyeliner. It really shouldn't. It should dry down at some point, but this one just never seemed to, and I do not recommend it. All right, and that's going to bring us to our last fail for the month, and this one's from Glow Recipe. It's the Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dew Drops. It's supposed to be sort of like a liquid luminizer, highlighter type deal. At least that's how it's marketed on the Sephora website. I just got the deluxe size sample because I can't remember the full price. I want to say it's in like the $35 to $45 range for the full price of this, and I am so glad that I did not buy the full size because I don't like this. I do not understand what it's supposed to be. So here, where is it? There it is there. So kind of like smear it around. Sure, like it adds a little bit of glow, but that's also just because it's really wet. Like if I rubbed water on my hand, it would look glowy. You know what I mean? Like the problem, it stays sticky. Like it never dries down. And the amount of like glow that you get from that just isn't worth the feeling of it on your skin. I don't understand it. I don't understand what the point of this product is because it doesn't add like a ton of illumination. So I don't really feel that it qualifies quite to the degree of like liquid highlighter. But like, I don't understand why does it have niacinamide in it? Like, first of all, I don't really know what niacinamide does. I know it's a skincare item, like I get that, but so that suggests to me that this should then be like the first layer, but the amount of illumination that it provides is so subtle that if you put foundation on top of it, it would just sort of negate it completely. But then putting it on top, like it never dries down, so it's just uncomfortable. I'm stymied. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this except throw it out because I really don't like it. I do not appreciate stickiness. I truly don't. Okay, that then is going to bring us into the favorites. So I've got a little bit of a mixed bag. I really did try to like narrow it down and just look at like what are the products that I'm reaching for over and over again that aren't in my project pan. Because those ones I'm using by choice, not necessarily because they're my favorites, but because I've decided like this is the blush that I want to hit pan on. So I just keep using that one. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a favorite. You get? There's a distinction? Okay. Let's quickly start with a couple of brushes that have recently joined my arsenal of brushes, but that I am using to the exclusion of all other brushes that are used for these purposes. I'll explain. So this guy here, this is from Smashbox, and this is the, oh my God, that is the second time. I give up. I give up. If you watched my earring collection video, I was talking about how these are possibly the most heavy earrings in my collection. There's your proof. They're so heavy that they just fall out spontaneously. All right, no earrings. That's fine. All right, back to the brush. Precise highlighting brush. It's dirty. Don't judge it. It's all good. So you can see like it's on a bit of an angle. It's rather fluffy, but without being like super flexible. Like there's a good amount of stiffness to the bristles. And I love it because I can use it with cream products. I can use it with powder products, but it just like sits really nicely and precisely right where I want it. If I want to put it down the bridge of my nose, blend out along the forehead, like no matter where I want to put my highlight, this is small enough to get it done, but still big enough that it's not just this like tiny little strip. Like it blends things out nicely, but doesn't overly disperse things. I really like the shape of it. I am really enjoying that brush. Another brush that I've recently fallen in love with is this one here from Nude by Nature. This is the number 12 pointed precision brush, and I love this. Here, maybe that'll help you see it. I love it for concealer. I have very deep set eyes, so getting concealer up in this area can be very difficult. I often use like a flat foundation brush so that I can turn it sideways to get into that area, but more often than not, I end up using my fingertips, like just my baby fingers, just to get in there. Because they're so deep set, I do have a lot of dark like shadows in here. This gets in there perfectly, brings it all the way up and around, helps to really blend out. There's a lot of space along the side, so I can just sort of blend my concealer around that way, but I can get into all like the little nooks and crannies, the sides of my nose, all of that. I really like this brush. All right. You might have seen little flashes of swatches on my arms. Let's talk about those right now. These are lip products from the Lip Bar. They are now going by TLB. They've just recently changed their name. Here they are on my wrist, and these are their liquid matte liquid lipsticks. So this is the one that I'm wearing on my lips today. It's in the shade Man Eater. So I'll just walk you through going from here over this way. So the pink is called Haute Mess. The orangey red is Boy Trouble. The deep red is Boss Lady. And then the purple is the shade Crown Me. So first of all, looking at the packaging, like I love TLB packaging. I think it's just so different and pretty, yet totally functional. You're not dealing with like a big chunky component or anything of that sort. It has a nice little doe foot applicator on it. It's hardly any scent at all, hardly anything at all, but the formula itself is so comfortable to wear. I find that they are very long lasting, but they don't get like that grittiness like the NYX did. They don't feel dry on the lips at all. I can feel that I'm wearing something, but in the same way that I would like a bullet lipstick. Like it's very lightweight. It's not sticky. It is transfer proof. Like they're just a really comfortable formula to wear, and I do enjoy liquid lipsticks. I've never been on like the anti-liquid lipstick train, but they have to be comfortable and they have to be long wearing, and they can't just like leave a ring around the outside of my mouth and the rest of it all just disappear. This one checks all the boxes for me in that it is long wearing, it is comfortable. When it does fade, it starts to fade rather gradually. It's not a gigantic pain in the butt to remove. It can apply on top of itself without getting crumbly. I remember I had that issue with Stila Stay All Day liquid lipsticks. You had to remove it entirely in order to reapply, or else it just got really sticky and crumbly on top of itself. That's not the case with these. And also the price point's really great. Like they retail for $13, but they often have at least 2 or 3 shades on sale for $8. So the price point is definitely there as well. Also, and take this for what it's worth, I do have a discount code with TLB, which will save you 10%. It's Cara10. If you're interested, it is an affiliate code, but even if I didn't have the code, I would be talking about these lip products because I think they're so comfortable and fantastic. All right, let's switch gears from makeup for a second and talk about perfume. This is one that I have mentioned before, but now that we're in the throes of winter, I've busted this one out and I cannot stop wearing it. This is from Givenchy. It's Dahlia Divin. I'm gonna look up what the notes of it are because I can't describe perfumes to save my life. All right, I've brought it up here. It says that it has subtle undertones of vetiver, sandalwood, and patchouli, which lend a hint of earthiness to this fragrance while also giving it warmth and spice. So what I can say is don't let that word patchouli scare you off, because I'm not picking it up. Sandalwood for sure. I have no idea what vetiver, I don't know how to say it. I don't know what that is. But I don't pick up like patchouli in the way that you think of patchouli. Like I have a friend who wears patchouli and you can smell her from like a mile away. And it's not a bad smell, but it's just like, it's a lot. This one, I don't scent it, like I don't detect it in there at all, but it is a very like grounded and warm smell. Like it's not, if you can see it up there, I have Bright Crystal. If you're familiar with Bright Crystal, it's very like springy and summery and very light and almost like effervescent. Like it's very like citrus meets floral kind of thing. This one is much more mature than that. It's much more sexy than that. Like it does have a warmth to it without lending itself to like musky scents. I don't know if I'm making any sense at all, but like I love this for winter. It's a little too heavy for me for spring and summer, but like November into March, this is my wheelhouse. I love this one. Let's bring it back to the world of makeup and we're going to talk about brows. I don't typically get super fussy about brow products. Like, I just don't. My brows aren't very problematic. They're fairly full. They need a little bit of control. They need a little bit of filling in just to even things out. But if I forget to put brow product on in a day, I don't feel naked without it. Like, it doesn't bother me. But this is the one that I have been reaching for. It's the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And I have it in dark brown, deep brown, obviously. It's fantastic. It's so good for what I need it to be. It does add a bit of color to the brows just to like give that like semblance of fullness. It does keep them locked into place, but there is no crunchiness to it. You can't even really feel that it's on my brows. If you need a lot of control in your brows, I don't think you would like this. If you need a lot of control and you don't mind a little bit of a crunch factor in order to get it, go for Sigma. This is the Tint and Tame Brow Gel. Holy, it's aggressive. It's super aggressive, but if that's what you need for your brows, you're not going to be disappointed with it. But if just on a day-to-day basis, you just need a little bit of something and you don't want to go the clear brow gel route, but you also don't want to mess with like powders and creams and all that kind of nonsense, check this one out. I think it's like $4, something along those lines, but it's fantastic. Again, for what I need it to be, but these are my favorites, and this is one of them. All right, I have one more drugstore product to talk about, and it's pencil liners from Milani. These are the Stay Put eyeliners. I have a deep purple in the shade Duchess, and I have a navy blue in Femme Fatale. These are very impressive, and I think they're $11 Canadian, something along that line. So the fact that it's retractable at that price point, I like that, and that it does retract back down. Nothing drives me more crazy in this world than makeup products that like roll up but won't come back down. Why is that even an option? I truly don't understand that. I hate that mechanism. Anyways, that is not the case here. You can roll it all the way up. You can roll it all the way back down. And not only that, it has like the little smudgy guy at the bottom as well. So I think it's just like, oh, and like a little sharpener too. You just pull the butt off and there's a sharpener in there. Like all of that for like $11-12. That is fantastic. And then not only that, but they're really easy to apply. I guess I could show you. Like it's super smooth. There's no tugging, and yet it is very long wearing. I've never come across an eyeliner that's going to last all day in my waterline, but these ones are about as close as you can get. And when I do wear them on like my upper lash, they don't smudge away into nothing. They don't end up dragging out past where my my lash line is. They stay put, they lock into place. They're fantastic. I highly recommend them. All right, we've got two more products left, and one of them is a powder foundation that I just recently reviewed. It's the Fenty Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Powder Foundation. Did I get that all right? I did. I got that all right, just off the top of my head. Go me. It's a powder foundation. It does come with like a little sponge at the bottom there. It does have a mirror, so if you want to touch up throughout the day, you can do that very easily. I am really impressed with this. I think it looks fantastic on my skin. It doesn't look powdery. It doesn't look cakey. It just blends beautifully into my skin. It wore really well throughout the day. There were a few signs of wear by the end of the day, but I expect that after 10 hours of wear of basically anything. The only minor complaint that I have on it is that it just doesn't blend all that well across my nose for whatever reason. I do have that from time to time with certain foundations. They just don't like to adhere to my nose, even though my nose isn't like oily or anything of that sort. So I don't know what's going on there, but regardless, this one struggled a little bit along the nose, but from like a realistic distance, nobody would ever know. That's me getting right up close into a magnifying mirror to look at it to be like, there's a problem. But I could literally come from like the best facialist in the world and look at like a 10 times magnified mirror and I'm still gonna see problems. So take that for what it's worth. Overall though, the ease of application, the level of coverage that it provides, how it looks on the skin, how it wears throughout the day, I am a huge fan of this and therefore it has quickly become a favorite. Last, but certainly not least, is the ACI formula from Adept Cosmetics. So, they have an entire palette devoted to their ACI formula. This is the Plain Jane palette. I'm going to walk through it. I have reviewed it, but I'm going to walk through it in just a moment. But in addition to the Plain Jane palette, they also have 4 singles in this same formula, and these are every bit as beautiful as what is contained in the Plain Jane. All right, so let's talk about the Plain Jane palette. So this retails for $62 on the Adept Cosmetics website. It is available for pre-order now. It'll ship at the end of March, early April. I have just very recently received a code with Adept, so it is an affiliate code. It will save you $10 off. It's just Kara. It's a one-time use only code, so I would recommend that if you are going to pick this palette up that you use the code for that rather than just like a single shadow just to maximize on your own savings. That does sound a little self-serving, but honestly I am just thinking out for you because it is a one-time use. I do have the website linked down below in my description box. The link itself is an affiliate link as well. I just want to be upfront and clear with you on that. However, I did a full eye swatch video on this and it also ranked #1 out of my top 10 palettes for 2020 well before I received the code or the link. So hopefully that shows you what my integrity is with this palette and with this brand in general. I just really enjoyed everything that I have tried from this brand, and I've also just really enjoyed my interactions with the brand on social media, particularly over on Instagram. They are very supportive. They're very kind to deal with as well. So just from like a personal perspective, I really like who is behind the brand, but the products speak for themselves as well. This palette is stunning. I did swatch a few standouts for me, so I'll show them here. This is ACI 3, ACI 6, ACI 9, and ACI 12. These are not pressed glitters. These are just incredibly shimmery, beautiful duo and multi-chromes. I do find that I can get through an entire workday with these on the lids without having to use a glitter glue, without them transferring around or creasing or just fading off into nothing throughout the day. They're not trickled down onto my cheeks. The longevity of these shadows and just how beautiful they are, I can't overstate it. They're gorgeous. However, I am fully aware that $62 for a palette is a hefty price point, and so people might not necessarily want that. So I did also want to talk about the 4 single shadows that they have that are in the same finish. So ACI 13 and 14, this red and green, they don't have quite the same finish as the other 2, even though they are considered to be ACI. These are just far more pigmented and they come across as very metallic, in particular that red. They are beautiful, but they're not quite as like light in pigmentation as the other ones. They're not as like ethereal looking, if you will. Now going on to ACI 15 and 16, now we're right back to the same kind of opacity that you find in the palette. And these are beautiful as well. I'm going to give you a little bit of a comparison as well in just a second. So that is 15 and that is 16 right there. And I don't think the lights or the camera are quite doing it justice in terms of like the shifts that are in these. They're stunning. Alright guys, there you have it. Those were my favorite products and some very much not my favorite products for the month of January. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What is a product that has been knocking your socks off, and what's one that you're like, makeup regret? I'd love to hear from you in regards to both of those. But for now, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.